Why hello and welcome back to another episode of Voice of the Rings. I am your host and guide, Zollin Ironshield, and today we're going to talk about the new Lord of the Rings online expansion that was announced, Before the Shadow. Now, you might have seen my other video, where a lot of you watched it, of my little announcement of the sneak peek of, we saw the maps already, that is going to be coming out of this expansion, but we're going to talk about it today a little bit more in depth on what they give us here. They don't give us a whole lot of info, but we'll give you what we can, and we'll have some fun. And again, don't forget to like and subscribe if I do earn it. We do a lot of Lord of the Rings content here, LOTRO or Tolkien, all of it. So if I do earn it, maybe throw a subscribe if I earned it. All right, you guys. So here's what we got today. So it's called Before the Shadow, which is pretty cool. They have a little video here. I'll have this linked in the description for you so you can grab it and check it. Now, some people were asking me in the comments, is it a paid expansion? Yes, I believe it is going to be a paid expansion, surprisingly, because it says pre-purchase available late September. So we know that it'll probably be coming out sometime after that, obviously, if the pre-purchase starts then. Usually that's within a decent time, but this is very cool. I like what they're doing here. Okay, so there's a couple things they're doing. We'll break it down just a little bit. They are basically taking us back. So if you've been someone that's played Lord of the Rings online a long time, you will know this. But if you're someone that's newer to the game and you'd like to know about it, let me tell you real quick. So Lord of the Rings Online basically starts where you kind of weave between the stories. When you're doing the main chapter stories, you kind of weave with what the books are happening in the books, with the Fellowship of the Ring, the Two Towers, and the Return of the King, the Lord of the Rings series, right? But we do side things, but what they're going to do today is where we are right now. Again, it doesn't matter what quest you're on, that's where you are in the story, in the game. But let's say you're max level in Lord of the Rings Online, you've done all the stories and quests. You're basically past the Return of the King book, and you're helping the dwarves up in Gundabad and other places, and they're doing other stories, right? And they'll continue those, I'm sure. But now they're going to take us back. What people really loved a long time ago with LOTRO. We really loved seeing about the Nazgul, right? And about the Witch King of Angmar, right? And all those cool things. So what they're going to do now is they're going to take us back, and we're going to do the region down in the bottom left of Middle-earth, near the ocean. It is just south of the Shire and Breeland is where they will be placed. It'll be Swanfleet and Cardolan. And I would like to point out that Swanfleet, these are both lore accurate, all right? So names, again, LOTRO does a fantastic job of following the lore, and that is why we love it as a Tolkien channel, and why I do so much with Lord of the Rings Online here, because it is just so, they do such an awesome job of doing their very best. Even stuff they add in that isn't from the books, they do their very best to make it as true to Tolkien as possible. So I do admire them greatly for that. But moving on, as Boromir makes his way to the north of Rivendell, ahead of a meeting of what will eventually become the Fellowship of the Ring, while the Nazgul search for Pagans in the peaceful land of the Shire, players will discover the threat rising from Mordor and the Saruman Urix as they explore the far history of Middle-earth. So again, they're bouncing us back, and this area will be for levels, for questing levels 1 to 32. That's really low considering the max level right now is 140, but it's really cool because something that I like is when I make a new character, I don't want to always do the same thing all the time, you know? It's like kind of fresh to do a different area, so that'll be awesome. But will there be stuff for high level 2? Yes, there will. They say right here there's going to be a 6-person instance. There's going to be an additional new skirmish that we can do. These are kind of like story mode. When you go in, if you're not familiar with what that is, it's kind of like a dungeon, right? If you're from a different game, a different MMO, that's what those are. They're a little difference between an instance and a skirmish. Skirmish is a little bit different game mode, but they're pretty much both like a dungeon or instance, like story mode kind of thing. You go into, you beat a boss, you move on, right? So, but really cool, very exciting. I'm really excited to explore these new areas. Exciting, we're going to see what Boromir did basically when he was sent by Denethor to Rivendell, right, in the Fellowship book. So we are going to see stuff in the Fellowship book at the beginning, but they'll probably also show us some stuff before that and what's happening on the side, which is really pretty darn cool. I'm pretty excited about it personally myself. I think it's very cool. Let's watch the little trailer real quick. Again, I'll have these linked for you, but let's watch this real quick. Let me put our Brigand's Tale music on hold there for a second. I love the music. Great music. So they're giving you some early glimpses on the areas. Then it goes into very scary. All right. right, Before the Shadow. Again, so it seems like to me what their goal is on this next expansion is they're going to be expanding. That's a little joker. Expanding, expanding. On the new Lord of the, on the original stuff we loved about the game, and a lot of that stuff that was really nostalgia to a lot of us original players. So it's very exciting. How much will it cost? Well, they haven't said that yet. I'd assume that it probably, they might do it at the same price as like a normal expansion, but since there's not going to be a level increase so far from what we know, I doubt it would be a super expensive one. They might do like a special collector's one that'll be more expensive, but I doubt it's really going to be a whole ton. But again, what they're doing is with this is that Lord of the Rings Online has done a really good revamp of free-to-play. That free-to-play has always been good. I've always felt like it's one of the best free-to-play systems of any MMO. But now that we've gone into the more free-to-play genre in the last 15 years of, you know, gaming in general, they've revamped their free-to-play system just this last year, and it's fantastic, okay? But they still have to make money somehow, right? And they don't do things like, for example, let's say a new MMO like Tower Fantasy, which actually is a rather fun game. Anime, but rather fun game. But it has a system where you can, like, open chests, do things like that. It's kind of like a lot of the microtransactions. In Lord of the Rings Online, they have little microtransactions, but they're more like cosmetic things and like fun extra side things. They don't like affect your gameplay that much. They're more like convenience compared to other games where you kind of have to do that to be stronger. So I do like it that they don't shove it in your face in Lord of the Rings Online, but I do, obviously, they got to support their game somehow. So I'm excited about the new expansion. We'll see what it does, how much they price it at later. I'll give you info on that again. You should subscribe and like if you like any knowledge about the Lord of the Rings Online, or if you like voiceovers, or if you like guides on the game, or if you like anything Tolkien. That's what we do here on the channel on Voice of the Rings. So anyway, my friends, you have a wonderful day in Middle-earth. Very excited about this. I think it'll be a very, very cool expansion. I think it's just really cool that they're adding on to the world, and we're going to go over sea stuff right at the beginning of the Fellowship books again, or right before that, right? And what Boromir's doing, and all this cool extra stuff on the side, where he traveled, all that kind of stuff. Maybe we'll find his horse, that kind of things. Yeah, very, very cool. Again, this is going to be a new mini expansion, so that's a new term that I've never heard before that them use. That is definitely a very new thing. I understand why they're doing it, though. They want to realize it's going to be probably paid. It's probably going to be cheaper than a regular expansion is my guess. But at the same time, since they've revamped the free-to-play system, they need to have someone to make revenue still. And again, I want to support the game, and I would love new content. And they give us lots of free updates all the time. They just gave us a big free region, another one too. So it's not like they're not going to still give us free cool stuff occasionally. But yeah, very cool. I like it. I'm very excited. Great announcement to know. Again, links down there for this. If you guys were here for the whole 8-minute video, you're awesome. Thanks for staying for the whole video. And I will see you on the next episode of Voice of the Ring. Subscribe button's there if I earned it. Next episode will be up there for this playlist. And a LOTRO Tama main content where I do voiceovers is right over there. So check them all out. And you guys have a wonderful day in Middle-earth. See ya.